Hello everyone and welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host Roz13 and today we are looking at the star-winning Gundam from Build Fighters Try. This was another one of my Father's Day gifts, and I believe this was one of the ones where my wife and son looked at it and it's like, we want to get him something that's kind of crazy looking, so this is it. And I can't wait to show it off to you guys, but first let's take a look at the box. So to start off, we got multiple illustrations of the star-winning Gundam. We got her in her regular SD form and her, I think they refer to it as real form over here, and then this sort of super core fighter jet mode thing going on, and it all looks pretty darn cool. And we got the SD logo here instead of HG, even though it's kind of an HG kit. Build Fighters Try logo, star-winning Gundam, Try Fighters, Fumina Hoshino's mobile suit, Bandai Spirits 2015, blue Bandai logo because this is a reissue. And I kind of like the aesthetic that the Build Fighters series has with, it's sort of the semi HGUC look, but they do their own thing with it. It's cool. On this side, we have the same illustrations as before, though missing the super jet mode thing. We see that this is number 30 in the line. BandaiHobby.net, blue Bandai logo. Over here we have some painted shots of the kit. I can tell you that mine does not look this good. As well as some write-ups on it in Japanese. We got a couple of stickers that were put over the usual barcode. Over here, same as before, except we got the famous blue fin sticker. Then over here we have shots of all the cool stuff it can do, even showing its real mode. Yeah, I was right. And then some call outs for the other kits in the line. And that is that. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the actual figure. And here she is in all her miniature glory. And she looks pretty cool, I think. Though she is super sticker heavy. I did go ahead and use almost all the stickers on it. You have extra eye options, so I only used one of them. I may go back and try painting this one. I honestly don't know. It would be a lot of work, but it could be a lot of fun, so we'll see. But looks pretty neat, I think. I particularly like the translucent green bits sticking out. Now, we'll also say, if this was not touching the ground here, see, she'd fall over. This backpack is way too heavy and way too far back for her center of balance. I also have her weapon all in its sort of combined form, because I think it looks cool this way. I'm doing the sword form mainly because when I tried to do the combined gun form, it just didn't feel like it would fit in her. She couldn't hold it very well. Anyway, articulation wise is kind of weird, at least in this form. You got a ball socket joint, so the head can move around a little bit, but you're restricted by the armor here. You got a ball socket joint for the shoulder, but everything is going to collide. No elbow joint. Wrist is on a ball socket joint, though it's very stiff. You got a little bit of a waist joint, but again, everything collides. And you got some leg articulation here, but it's just not doing you much. The most you have is the toe ankles there. And really, everything is kind of supposed to be stuck in one position, I think, just to keep her stable. But she has some cool features here and cool transformations. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, and I'm doing something a little bit different, and a lot of this is stuff that I am gonna basically figure out with the instructions live here on camera for you. So first things first, let's make her super shuriken weapon thing. So we're going to take off these little parts here and here, and then we're going to take off the translucent bits. They just pop right off. Okay. And I believe we just, let's see. It goes just like this. And yeah. Just like this. And then you tilt everything into position, I guess, and voila. And then you can do that with this bigger one too. This one looks like it might make a slightly better star shape. Here we go. And I love how these things look. The clear translucent is just my jam. It feels like it's glowing, particularly under these lights. All right, next up, let's do a quick comparison actually, because I'm going to be taking this guy apart and I want you to see what she looks like next to her original form. Ta-da! Reposition the camera a little bit. Oh wow, without the green thing, she's falling backwards. So here's what she looks like next to the original winning Gundam. So you got a similar color scheme, but you kind of abandon the orange more in favor of the green. But you still got big backpack, though this one's a little bit different. And lots of stickers. Okay, put that aside. Let's start transforming some stuff. Okay, we're gonna rip her head off. Okay, and then she's got a cool pair of shades that you put over here to just cover things up. Next, we're going to carefully remove her V-fin. Come on. I don't want to just rip this thing off because I'm worried I'd break something. I'm going to flip out wings. Flip this down, which is very, very stiff. And then put that on there. And here she is in her core fighter mode, which looks pretty cool. You can even connect this here. And you can do this, which looks silly, so I'm not going to do that. You can also use this to help connect it to a action base, it looks like. But truth be told, I dig this. This looks really cool. It's very swooshable. And it works. And it still sort of retains that kind of SD quality with it because of how they sort of shorten up and then plump up the cockpit area. It's just very cool looking. I dig it. Okay, now we're going to do her bigger jet form. So we're going to take this backpack off, put her arms down. I'm going to fold this armor down. I'm going to turn her feet around, it looks like, or turn the entire legs around. Turn the entire legs around. Okay. You can even see there's little slots here and a peg-like thing to connect everything together. So we got that. Now we're going to reconnect this like this. Which that by itself, not too bad. Oh, bump the camera. So, kind of a basic super jet mode, because there's extra steps to this. Okay, next we're going to reattach this thing somehow, the backpack. So, that connects, we're going to rotate these like this. I got 2 pegs here, and there should be 2 corresponding holes here on the feet. Yep. Those shoulder armor pieces like to come off real easily. Okay, gonna have to get everything kind of positioned just right. Hopefully this is all in frame. There we go. Try to get that back into position. So we got that. Then we need to disengage this stuff. Try to do this without breaking pegs. That was scary sounding. There we go. All right, so we're just going to connect these back where they were. Oh, that came off. Oh well. Fortunately, everything attaches quite nicely. And there's sort of its, I guess, super fighter mode thing, which, not too bad. Can I get it in frame? There we go. Particularly since I know these parts back here become the legs for the real mode, it does feel like sort of a real transformed jet mode. It's a little silly, but it uses pretty much all the parts, so I can't complain too much. But now for the big finale. Let's get this guy into real form. Okay, so we're going to start by just taking things apart. Because yes, this is very much a parts formery thing. Okay, so we're going to just take all of this apart. All of it. Every last part. Apart. Ah! Oh, the humanity. Okay. So, we're going to take this off too. Put this down like that. Now we need to open up the head. Which is, there we go. And you can see the real mode head is in there. That actually goes right back here. In fact, you could do this separation part with that still attached. So, I'm going to reattach this together like that. It would be kind of cool if they could just make a way for it to come straight off, but I can understand there is limitations. And we're going to go ahead and get this transformed into combined form, but we are going to take off this smaller V-fin from the bigger V-fin. So then we reattach this, which looks a little bit ridiculous because that is a rather big V-fin, but it is what it is. Well, let's go ahead, rotate these legs around because I think they are supposed to be like that. So next up, we're going to pull this off. And now we're going to take this and we're going to flip these little connector gizzies back up. Then we're going to rotate the legs back around because I should have just left them there. And we're going to rotate the entire thing around. So what was once the front skirt is now the back. And then we're going to put this here. And hold on. There we go. There was a little connector bit here, and you kind of slide this in, and now it's good and solid. I'm impressed. You can go ahead and put these back on. They didn't need to come off, they just sort of fell off. It looks silly like this. Next steps, flipping the instructions around. Okay, now we're going to take the feet off, taking care to make sure that the little polycap ball joints stay in there. And now we are going to attach the legs. So I'm gonna put one in here and then put the other one in here. Oh, and then we flip this around on both sides so we have our ankle connection, and that just pegs in there. And now she's getting tall. Almost too tall. Get some light on her. At least try to, and maybe fail. Okay, next we need to make everything fall off the shoulders. Okay, now we need, so we've taken the arms off. Now we need to take these off. And we're going to take off those bits. All right. So now, how do I do this? Oh, these ball joints are supposed to stay up in here. Okay, so we're going to attach this in here somehow. So we're going to bend that slightly, it says. The instructions on this are a little weird looking. Okay, and then this goes in here like that. Okay, there we go. That's kind of weird, but whatevs. And then this is going to go right in here. There we are. Second verse, same as the first. Connect this there, like that. Also showing that this goes back on here, right? Whoop. There we go. Okay. Gonna get the shoulders back together. And also, let's go ahead, because it's showing this on the instructions. Also knock the thing over. This goes like this. This goes like that. And that's her shield, basically. Okay. Looks like these parts just go to the side, which is a little blah. tell you what, we got ports right here. Might as well, we'll figure that out. Okay, so we got this, and that's just gonna knock things over. This just connects back here like that. Really? Okay. I don't think I'm going to keep it like this because now she is super back heavy. Like I'm having to lean her forward to counteract that. And then I'll just put this back in her hand, and there she is. So yeah, because of the transformation, it feels like she's a little on the fragile side. So you gotta be careful when you start moving around for posing. But not too bad. The backpack is a little silly. It is very, very big, and it connects on an angle. I don't care for that. I may display her without it. I don't know. Especially since you take this off and it's its own little core fighter thing, so let's go ahead and take a look at articulation here. So now we have a closer look at her head. Let's get that out of the way. So she has that giant sort of double V fin with a part that even swoops back, and it works a little bit for her. Nice thing here is the orange here is an actual orange piece of plastic. The sticker, not so much. Got some green bits on the side here, which I don't mind too much. They look pretty decent. The head is mounted on a ball socket joint, and now that you don't have the giant SD head, you got pretty unrestricted, though the V-fin will bump into things. And that arm just does not want to stay on. Shoulders are on a ball socket joint with a sort of at least somewhat standard HG butterfly hinge. So you get fairly decent range of movement without things colliding. Just got to be careful because this shoulder armor does want to come off. Elbow is basically single jointed, and you do have a bicep swivel. I kind of wonder if you could mix things up to give a more pseudo double jointed thing, elbow here, but I haven't really found a good way for that. This does mean that it's one where the shield and details feel like they're wrong unless you tilt it sideways, in which case you don't have the elbow joint properly. So as you can see, the shield here is mounted on the underside of the arm as opposed to the side. See, just does not want to stay on, particularly on that side. And I don't want to necessarily glue it because that would eliminate some of the transformation. May end up just like putting some sticky tack on the inside there or something. So here at the waist, you got, there's a ball joint here, but you don't really get much use out of it. You get a little bit of forward and back, but even then I don't think you're supposed to. So let's see, how do the legs handle this transition? You got the, let's put that aside. You got the ball joint up here, so you can get a little bit of movement, but the skirt is frozen. And I think even if you could move the skirt, I don't think you'd get a whole lot of movement forward. You get pretty decent knee bend. So for certain flying poses, you'd be good. Then you got a ball joint at the ankle, plus this jointing here, which looks a little weird, but it's extra jointing you can use. So it definitely sacrifices quite a bit in favor of its transformation. You can still get some poses out of it though, so it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's limited. This is another one that you get it with the sort of novelty of the design and the gimmick in mind. I think this is one of the first SD Gundam kits I've gotten that has the real mode transformation, and I have to admit, I dig that concept a lot. Let's see. If I remember correctly, you can just, yeah, put that in her hand so she can throw it like that, and put that like that. Looks pretty darn cool. Again, you get a little bit of shelf presence with this character. For comparison, here she is now next to her original form. A little bit of a difference there. Still kind of neat to have these two together. I really wish I had the gem cardigan, because one, I think that design looks awesome, and two, it'd be nice to kind of have the complete set. And while I don't have any other Build Fighter characters that I can think of off the top of my head, I do have the Strike Gundam full package. So you can see she's actually fairly standard HG 1144 scale height when set up like this. So she'll fit in quite nicely there. So yeah, I think I can give at least a little bit of a recommendation on this. The stickers can be problematic to some people, so that's something to be aware of. And the assembly is a little bit on the odd side, but it is a very interesting build. And especially since I got this from my family, I do not regret getting this one. So yeah. If you like interesting kits with interesting ideas, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. Just be aware of what you're going into. So yeah, that's been a review. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below for links to my storefront where you can get official Shelf Space t-shirts and more. And yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.